Hello everybody, I am Josh and I was a computer science examiner for a number of years. I was a head of computer science in UK based schools and now I run a tutoring business. This series of lessons is all to do with giving you as little as possible to remember and still being able to get those top grades. I'm using my experience to give you all of the potential questions that could come up on each spec point, and then all you have to do is write the questions, write the answers, put them on some flashcards and get them into your head, and then that's all you have to do. Now, this is only going to be for the OCR spec. So we're just going to be looking at client-server relationships of networks, peer-to-peer networks, and network hardware. So we're going to be looking at those specifically. So the first questions we're going to have a little look at is the role of computers in a client-server relationship. So what you have to talk about on this, it doesn't seem to say that you have to write anything to do with advantages and disadvantages of client-server and peer-to-peer. It's just what are the computers doing. So the idea is that your computer requests services from a server. The server can then choose to grant or deny these requests. The server can have many roles. You may have to know a couple of these servers. So for example, a web server, this decides which websites your device can go on to. Similar at school, some websites you can get on, some websites you can't get on. A print server organizes print jobs. File servers stores files and make sure that they're available for people. I've put in brackets here just in case it asks you to give what you think in what your advice would be in a particular situation, is that this would be generally better for larger organizations. Then we're doing this with the peer-to-peer networks. Peer-to-peer networks, so there isn't any requesting services from servers or anything along those lines. It's all to do with everybody has equal access. So no computer has control over the network like a server. And this is better for smaller organizations. A couple of quick points on these, I just thought this would be good to know, is what is an IP address and what is a MAC address. So an IP address is a string of numbers that allow the device to communicate on a network. And a MAC address is a group of hexadecimal digits which uniquely identifies your device on the network, given by the NIC, which we're going to do in a second. The way I describe this is, if you imagine for a MAC address, if I needed to send you some post, I would address it to you. That is like your MAC address. That never changes. Your IP address is like your geographic location. So your IP address on your device can actually change based on your location. Now, the two of those together allow my data packets to get to you. So your name doesn't change, but your address, maybe you go on holiday, could potentially change. So the two of those together make sure that the post, if I was to send you some post, gets to you where you are. Now, we're just going to have a quick look at the different pieces of network hardware. So we've got wireless access point is a wireless transceiver, which just means like a wireless access point or a wireless, so being able to receive radio waves that allows the device to connect to the internet through radio waves, and this is Wi-Fi. Describe a router, connects your network to the internet, mark number 1. Forwards data packets to the correct place based on your device's IP address, and also gives devices IP addresses on your network. So in case it's a bit of a longer style question, you've got 3 potential points there. And you can see, again, going with our what we try and believe, which is to try and give you as little as possible to remember, a switch actually has exactly the same definition as a router, apart from it doesn't connect you to the internet. So if you just go with that point of forwards data packets to correct place based on the device's IP addresses, that you can also use that one as well. Now with a switch, generally a switch is used when a network gets a bit larger. So a home would only need a router. If the network started getting much larger, you may consider getting a switch, as this would be able to deal with all of the requests that are happening on your network. Last two is that we've got the NIC. So the NIC is what's called a network interface controller or a network interface card, and it allows your device to connect to a network. It has a MAC address on it which uniquely identifies your device on that network. The other one, which says describe 2 forms of transmission media, you could go for wireless wireless access, but I just thought I'd go for two wired cables, which we've got fibre optic, which is faster speeds than twisted pair copper cables and reliable over longer distances. And generally copper cables, they are on the specification, but they're starting to get phased out a little bit more because they're slower speeds and not as reliable over longer distances.